Hello and welcome to another pilgrimage tips video here at Your Way, Your Camino. And this is all about how to use GPX files to export, import something into an app that you can follow. I'm going to do everything based on Komoot here, Komoot. It's an app that I've been using for a while. There are other ones available, and it depends what you use, what you like. Each one will be different. People will have their preferences. Wikiloc is a very popular one in Spain, but for me, it always seems to drop out reception. I don't know why. Komoot I have used for a long time now, and it's recorded fine, it's kept my location fine. I've never had issues with navigation or anything like that, and I've got used to it, which is the most important bit, because they can take a little bit of getting used to. So I would say when you're out walking back home, try and doing training, use these apps as well. Try and do training on the app. I've got many miles, I think of 6,300 kilometers I think I've got in Komoot now, and I've not been using it that long really, so that includes all the training walks as well. So playing with it to make sure that you can follow it, that kind of thing. One of the most important things for me is having the route. So I tend to use an app like Gronze. For me, Gronze Maps is the one I use. Other people use Buen Camino. Camino Ninja is really good. And what they tend to have is a live tracker, so that you can log in, you can literally hit a button and it will take you to where you are on that Camino. And they're worth their weight in gold sometimes, because sometimes, especially on some routes maybe which aren't so clear, knowing whether you've got to go left, right, straight ahead, or just double checking where you are, if you're not entirely sure, if you haven't seen an arrow for a bit, really crucial. But I like to have a backup as well. So I tend to download the GPX file and put it into my Komoot. So what I'll do at the beginning of the day is I'll open up the Gronze Maps. I'll have that there, or I might just open that up when I need it. But I will start off following the route in Komoot every day. What that also gives me is it gives me some stats around what I'm doing during the day. So it'll tell me the speed I'm going at, how long I've been walking. It'll say how far to the end, but the end is usually Santiago, so that might be a long way, so that might not necessarily be useful. But it will give me a bit of information, and I can see kind of what my pace is doing. That kind of, I'm a numbers person. I love data. I love knowing how far I've gone, how high, and all that sort of stuff. I love adding up. But also it can help inform me for what's coming next. If it's a day where I'm feeling a bit tired and I know I'm averaging about 4K an hour, then that's what I need to base other days on. If it's a day where it's pretty flat and I'm feeling pretty good and I'm doing 5.5 kilometers an hour, brilliant. I just have a bit more awareness of what my pace is. Now, this isn't going to work for everybody. Some people will go, why are you using these things? Just follow the arrows. And for me, on my first Camino, so the Camino Frances, I didn't have a phone. I didn't have anything to plug in. I took a film camera with 36 rolls of film, which weighed a bloody ton. And so I didn't have any apps. I didn't have anything. And to be honest, they were around then, but they weren't used that much. So I didn't follow anything. I just literally followed the arrows and had my John Briley guide, which was fabulous, absolutely fabulous. And I highly recommend it. But if this is something that you would like to do, that's why this is here. So it is definitely not you must do this if it floats your boat. I love to kind of, at the end of it, go, okay, this is how far I've walked, and this is, how many minutes I've been walking, and how long I was walking, how long I rested for. I'm a geek. It excites me, so forgive me. But if that isn't your bag, please feel free to switch off the video now. It won't necessarily be for you. In terms of kind of having something as a bit of a safety backup, though, this could be something that you would like to do. If you don't have, you may be coming from somewhere else and not have great amounts of data, anything like that. So what you can do with these apps is you can download them onto your phone so that you've got them there, and and you don't necessarily have to use data to track them. So that can be useful as well. But do check out what the requirements are for the app and what you need to do for that. I've had areas where I haven't had reception before, but because I've got the phone, the map downloaded onto my phone, I can still follow it just using the GPS, which is usually always there. So it's really important sometimes for safety, especially if you're going to be walking sections on your own. If there's not as many people around. Think for caminos like the Camino de Madrid, Camino Invierno, and for ones where I set off in the morning. So I'll often set off at 5:30, 6 in the morning before the sun even rises, because I love walking in the dark and listening to the world wake up. For those, having it on my phone is really, really useful. But most of the time you will have reception. Most of the time you could probably rely on something like the Gonzo Maps, Buen Camino, Camino Ninja, that kind of thing. So it is not an essential, but something that might help you out. So I'm going to give you a little bit of instruction. It will get more in depth towards the end, but if that starts freaking you out, just you do the simple stuff. It doesn't have to be in depth. This can be quite straightforward. So let me have a look at sharing my screen. Okay. So first thing to do really is to, I would say, if you're using a specific app, so Komoot, I would do a search, just a basic straightforward search, and whichever Camino you're doing and whichever app you're looking at. So Camino Frances, Komoot, that's just a standard Google search. I struggle to search within the app sometimes. I find it very complicated. I don't know if it's just me or if I just haven't figured out how to do it very well, but they often only look at where I am and within 30 kilometres of that, and then I try and do it by name, but it doesn't seem to find it. I find it very, very confusing. So that, as I say, that might just be me. But on here, I've got a lot of choices, and you can see as well a bit of information about them. So some of them are... you can see how fast, that's 797 kilometres. This is maybe just one section of it, things like that. That one's a bike one. So have a look and see which ones apply. Peregrinación en bicicleta. So that is a bike one, so that might not work for you. Camino Frances, Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port, 775 kilometres. That's probably the whole thing. So have a look and see which one applies, and then basically just open it up, and you will get either a screen like this. This is one that Daniel has done. 2018, so actually you probably want to look for one that maybe is a bit more up to date than that one, because some of the route might have changed, but it'll either bring something up like this, or it'll bring something up where it is hang on, let me try and find one. Let's just open that one up and see. It might be on somebody's collection. Yeah, so there's a collection here, which is somebody has very kindly shared, and it shows you on the map. And then what you can do is do it yourself, create and customize your own adventure of this full route below as a template, and you can just click on to that. Now, obviously, make sure you've got a account, but what you can do is save the route, and it will save that route for you into your saved routes. From there, you can either change the name of it. So French Way of St James full route is fine, so got it. And then what you will find when you go to your saved routes, it's in there. So what you can do every morning is just select that. So if you go into your saved routes on your phone, so make sure you go onto your phone and synchronize everything. So that will synchronize with what's on your computer. You can do all this through your phone as well. So that's another way of doing it. I find it slightly easier, some of this stuff on the computer, which is why I'm doing it on here. But you can just select that in the morning and then hit navigate, and it will get where you are and where you need to go to get back to the route, and then follow that route. So as you see, that's going to be the whole way across. So it's as simple as that. Now that is the easiest way to do it, and would function really well with most things. Now, sometimes it may be that you're on a slightly more obscure route, at which point what you can do is you can have a search for the GPX download. So if we were to search for the GPX download, I've done it for the Camino Frances as well, again, but it might be that it's the Camino Aragonés or the Camino de Madrid, and maybe they're not quite so popular. So you can just have a look and see who's got that GPX download. Obviously, these are all over the internet, can't guarantee anything on these, but if you click on one of these links, you should be able to download. So you might have to try a few different ones, but you'd then be able to download that GPX file. And once you've got the GPX file, another thing you can do in your routes is just when you go into your profile, you will see. Let's have a look. Just go back to the home. Oh, that's my picture. Bear with me. Here we go. This is the easiest place. So if you go back to the home screen, and there's a plus here. So you can plan a new route or you can import a GPX file. GPS, sometimes they call them GPX. Now in Komoot, you can do a fit file, a TCX or a GPX. So they're the three types of file. So if we go to upload file, and just browse to wherever that file is on your computer. Open that. So we're going to import it to plan a route. So we want to plan a new route, and we can just check, yep, that's the whole way across. Go to next. Just thinking, having a little moment. It's asking us what sport it is, so we are going to be hiking it. So that's a good thing to check there. If that said biking, but cycling, then it may be that that's the cycle route. So you might want to look for another GPX because they tend to have this preset within them. So, and the cycle route can sometimes be next to it on a road, something like that. So it might not necessarily be the right one to pick. So if we select that because it's hiking, it asks us, are we going to match the route to known ways or stick to the original route? I always stick to the original route because there might be segments of this. A lot of the Caminos follow a standard GR route within Spain and within other countries, but there might be sections that kind of go away from that route to go to churches or something like that. If you match it to known ways, it might take you away from those. So I always stick to the original route. So we'll hit save on there, and it's just thinking again, and then it's going to save that route for us. So we got it. So now we've got the French Way of St James, the full route there, and we can do what we want to that. You can edit it, you can do other things, you can share it, you can change the visibility. So maybe if you are going with other people, you could change that visibility to close friends or to anyone. Sometimes what I might do is I'll have it only for me. It's just a route that I'm trying. I haven't necessarily tested it out yet, but I might share it with somebody I know, say if they're going on the route with me. So that's how to import a GPX file. I'm going to get a bit more complicated now, so if that's already enough, then please feel free to leave it there. And as I say, this will be a very similar process within whichever app you choose to use. Another level of this, and something that I've done for a few of my Caminos now, is if I've not been able to find the route. So for me, there's a site which is the Spanish Federation of Associations of Friends of the Camino de Santiago, which is where I tend to get all of my sort of base information, and seems to be, to me, and opinions may vary on this one, but very comprehensive in terms of the details. I know a few of the Caminos who link to this site to give information out. So when I did the Camino Mozarabe from Malaga to Baena, when I asked for the information, they gave me their website, and their website linked back to this website. So this seems to me to be quite a sort of oracle of of information. And what they do on here, they have tracks that you can download. Now, are they more authentic? Are they not? You know, I'm sure ones in Komoot are fine, but you obviously don't know who's downloaded them or where they've come from. So just make sure that, you know, you're kind of getting it from a fairly credible source if you can. But if you're unsure, then you can always come down this route. So I'm going to look at the Aragonese here. So download tracks is something that you can do, and it gives you an RAR file. Now, when I click onto that, it automatically downloads into my downloads folder. And I'm just going to hop over here. So I've already got it, so I don't need it again. So this is the downloads folder, but it sent me a zip file. So the first thing I need to do is extract it. And if you hit extract all and then select where you would like it to go, it will extract that from the zip file. So this is where I extracted those two. And what I have is a load of KML files. Now, it maybe there's an app like Komoot that you can upload KML files to. I haven't found one yet. If you do know of one, please let me know. I'm sure there probably is one. But I found these and then I was like, I think I need to convert these to GPX files. So that's what I did. And basically there's this website here I found, kml2gpx.com, where you can literally choose which way you're doing it, but just browse to the file that you need, select it, and then convert it. Be careful when you're downloading it, especially in this app, because loads of adverts come up. So just make sure that you're downloading it and not clicking onto the adverts and things like that. It's a free app, you know, but I've had no problem using it, but you do just need to be a bit mindful. Let me just show you. So if you were to do that KML file, you can only do one at a time, and then you convert it. You download your file, and that's automatically started downloading. What sometimes comes up is a big box saying download with a big button, but actually that's an ad. So make sure you don't if it does do those kind of things. So once you've converted those KML files, and you'll see I've popped them into this folder here, which is these ones here, which converted to GPXs. You have the GPX file. Now, if you are going to do one stage per day, you could just upload each of those GPX files, which is no hassle whatsoever. So Somport to Jaca, Jaca to Ares, Ares to Artieda, Artieda to, I can't even pronounce that one, so we'll leave that. But you might just import those into your Komoot app. But what I did find is I quite like having the whole thing. So if I've got the whole thing, then I can just navigate to it and it doesn't matter where I stop. It's sometimes easier because if you do it in stages and then you decide to do a stage and a half, you've kind of either can't follow it for the second part or you've got to try and add it on. It just gets a bit clunky, basically. So I found this other app, which I found incredibly useful, called gpx.studio/app. And this is brilliant because what you can do is you can, if you open the different files, so I opened all 6 in here. Haven't found a way of doing more than 6 really, but I opened all 6. So this is each of the 6. So Somport to Jaca, Jaca to Ares. So each of those 6 different sections of the route I have downloaded, uploaded into here. And what you can do is you can merge those items together. So first of all, just select each of them. So if you click and then hit Control, and you'll see it brings those through. Something not quite right there, so that looks a bit strange, that. Oh, it looks like the route might be going the wrong way in that one. Interesting. Well, but do check what's happening with those, because those look like maybe they should be spun round the other way, which is something that could be looked at. But do check them before. And then merge the items together. So we're going to connect the traces and then merge them together. Yeah, so if you see that didn't work. So let's undo that. Can we undo that? No. Let's start again. Close that. Okay, let's try again and I can show you it from the beginning. Let's just check. Oh, I know, because I was going left to right, not right to left. So let's give that another go. So we're gonna drag all these 6 in. Let's open those up. It's always good when something goes wrong, because then you can see what's going on. So if you see, number 1 was over this end. So what we need to do is we need to do it in the right order. So I had 6 to 1. Now we need to do 1 to 6. So all I'm doing is literally clicking on it and then just dragging it over. So hopefully that should give us, so now we're starting at the right end. There we go. And that looks a lot better, doesn't it? Our elevation looks a lot better there. So if we just do that again, connect the traces and merge selection, and there we have it. So we have one GPX file all done, and what we can do now is export, and we can download that file. So when we go to our downloads, there it is. I'm just going to change the name of it. Camino Aragonés. And we head back into Komoot. We can import a GPS file. Let's go in there. Camino Aragonés. Open. And there we have the whole route. So a bit of a longer way of doing it, but maybe one that gives us a little bit more guaranteed kind of route. It absolutely up to you. There's a load of sites out there who give away amazing information, and some of them are fantastic. So, you know, the easiest way is to find it in whatever app you're using. If not, find it from a reputable source, download it and import it into whatever app you're using. This is the most complex way, so downloading it from a kind of official site like this, but then you've got to go through that conversion process from the KML to the GPX, and then possibly stitch it all together as well. So just a reminder of those apps. There you go, that's one of the ads that you need to watch out for. So KML2, the number 2, gpx.com, and gpx.studio/app is the other one. So really useful. And the one I use, Komoot, K-O-M-O-O-T. Other tracking devices and map applications are available. So I hope that's been useful. And as I say, up to you whether you use them at all. Maybe you just have them as a little bit of a backup. Maybe they're just ticking away in the background. However you feel, but this might be something else that can help you out on your journey. So take care, and buen camino.